Welcome to Market Main, the podcast where we talk everything marketing. I'm your host, Mike Peters, and today we have as guest on the show, Steven Pemberton, co-owner of Holoco. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Steven, tell me a little bit about, we talked already a little bit, of course, but tell me a little bit about what exactly it is you do. What I have on my bullet point list here is brand management and e-commerce marketing professionals. That's what you are, right? So let our viewers in on how you do all that and what's your market. You're located in Chattanooga, as far as I understood.
Correct, yeah.
So let us in on what's Holoco.
So Holoco is basically the brainchild of 4 years of e-commerce experience. So that is actually really where our story picks up and why Holoco even exists is it's not based off of good knowledge that we just read in a book somewhere or we took a course on. It was actually off of the course of hard knocks in life. And so 4 years ago, my wife actually started doing e-commerce on Amazon. And then from there, we ended up transitioning a couple different times, Shopify, Facebook, different things. But over those 4 years, we were able to generate over $3 million of sales online without a whole lot of marketing experience, without a whole lot of our face being out there. And what we noticed a few months ago was that there's a huge underserved market, especially, and this is anywhere, but we've noticed it here in Chattanooga, is with physical storefront owners. So people maybe like jewelers or maybe they're in retail. There's a guy that I know, and we talked about this beforehand, but he's been in business over 35 years, right at 36 now, and he has made a total of, before working with us, 6 sales online. That's not very good.
Just 6 in total in all those years?
In total, yes.
Okay.
Because he does not do anything online.
So he was basically around when the internet was invented already.
Exactly, yes. So we see that as an opportunity for us to use the experience that we have to help other people. So that's why Holoco exists.
All right. So that means and we talked about that before. So it's basically showing people how to utilize dropshipping, correct?
Yes. With him, yes. And we do his physical products, so whatever he has in store. What we are looking to build for people, and this is more of our higher ticket package, this is our done for you, is being able to help people start and scale a online store. So whether that's through drop shipping, which is something that we like to do in integrity. So we make sure that we have good suppliers, good times, because we're not getting it from China. We don't want it to be 3 weeks that your customer gets something. We want to make sure that still falls within that 3 to 7 days.
Okay, so that means you source all that in the United States?
Yeah. All that in the United States.
Okay. This is all with the brand logo made in the United States.
Yep.
Okay. So what kind of products?
So we help a wide variety of people. For us, we found our success in home goods. So anywhere from furniture to pillowcases.
Okay.
And for the people that we've been helping, it's jewelry. Jewelry's been a big one. We've seen that the margins on jewelry is insane. I don't know if you know that, but if you go to a store and you go buy a piece of jewelry, they've marked that thing up at least 4 times.
Yeah.
So their margins are incredible. And even on their drop shipping products, the margins are incredible. So for those of you who are listening who don't know, a drop ship item, if you're looking at or if you've heard of drop shipping, most people have. They've heard of drop shipping, and that's kind of like the scary ghost in the room that people don't want to talk about when it comes to e-commerce. But it's very easy to get into. It's got a low barrier of entry. But at the same time, your margins aren't as much unless you know how to work it.
Okay.
So with jewelry has great margins. Something like home goods, and maybe not so much. For us, our margins were more 30 to 40%. His margins are closer to 100%.
Okay.
Which is pretty insane because of how he'll have something that's for sale for $300-$400 and he's getting it for $30. And people buy it at that price. Right. So all he has to do is make a few sales to be able to encapsulate what would take us a couple hundred.
And that is that all drop shipping, or
yeah.
So meaning so he doesn't have to buy any inventory before he actually sells it.
Right. If he chooses not to. Now, one thing we do as well is, because you were talking about with brand management, is we also help him become a brand. So we build that website for him, we did it on Shopify. And at the same time, we also do his content. So I am his ads manager. So I run all of his ads and we create all of his ads. So anything he has in store that I go, oh, that's eye-catching, then we'll make an ad around it because that will drive that traffic to his store.
Okay. So let's say I'm, I want to be into, whatever. Like I want to sell stuff online, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do not really want that, but let's just assume, right? I want to sell stuff online, and what is the starting cost for me? Let's say I want to do a furniture, right? How can I do? Like, what's the start capital that I need in order to start with you guys?
So it depends on what you want to do. So let's just say that is something that you wanted to do. Is this something that you want to build, or is this something you want built for you?
Well, I mean, build it for me. I'm busy. Okay. I already have 2 businesses.
Awesome. So for that, to build it all for you, you're looking at closer to $25,000, and that is for us to work with you for an entire year. So,
okay, so like how's the business model there? Is like I pay you monthly a fee or
monthly? Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about roughly like 2,000.
Yep,
2,000 a month.
About 2,000, 2,500 or so.
So what about inventory? Do I need any inventory? Do I need to like come up? Was anything storefront or anything like that?
So no, basically we're going to come up with the idea. So we would want to know, where do you want to be? Do you want to be in jewelry, home goods? Do you want to be? I know you said home goods. So if that's the case, then what we would do is we would decide who do you already speak to? Like, let's say that you are already in business. If you have 2 businesses already, who is the main people that you are targeting? Like, is home goods something that you just want to get into, or is this something that you've been passionate about?
Right. I mean, I would never get into home goods.
Yeah.
Like, I said that all the time.
Yeah.
I would never get into anything that I don't know of. I go with something that I already know.
Right.
Looks like, for me, industrial automation, manufacturing, real estate, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know already the industries inside out. I mean, the only like cross-reference that I would have here is like real estate and home goods, right?
Yep.
So, okay. But I'm more into like, real estate on the B2B basis, meaning like I talk to realtors, I talk to realtors rather than like the homeowners, right?
Right.
So
yep.
I was just like, hypothetically making something up here. So no, I'm not in the space yet. I'm not talking to anyone. So now it's $2,000 a month that I hand over to you. Then what?
So from there, we would start with building out the shop, building out exactly what it is that you'd want to do. So, and this is where it's really important for me. If we were, like, I'm not saying that we're just role playing in this moment, is I want it to be something like our ideal client is somebody who either already has a product or already has a great idea based off of something they've already done. Like for us, we started our own home goods product line because we had been in home goods before. But I'm not going to start a jewelry line because I'd never been in jewelry until now helping our client. So that's why I was asking those questions in that role play was, for us, we want to make sure that it's something that aligns with you. Because it doesn't matter if we sit here and build it out for you and then we hand it back after a certain amount of time. If you aren't passionate about it, it's going to die.
Right.
And that's why it's very important to us that it's something that aligns with that client.
That makes sense. No, it sounds good to me. Like I said, just role playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is, like you said, you also like create content for the clients. So when you say content, and what exactly is it that you're talking about? Like just like the ad content, and like everything is PPC, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, just like that, exactly like that. We mainly focus on TikTok and Facebook ads. For me, I've been able to have some pretty good success when it's come to Facebook ads. The other thing that we like to look at too is it depends if it's somebody, because we have 2 different ways to look at it. If you're someone who wants to get into a product space, or are you someone who just wants to build your brand? Because if you're someone who just wants to build your brand, we also can help you build out funnels and be able to help you actually consult on building out a challenge. We do all that too, because there's people that we know in the space that they want to get more known. Maybe they have a business that's already working for them, but they want to become more known. And we've seen that marketing strategy of running challenges. Tony and Dean Graziosi just did one a couple of weeks ago, had almost 1 million people in it. 5-day challenge, completely free, with a bunch of different upsells, downsells, back-end offer. And we've seen that be able to convert at a high level for our clients and at a high level for us.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Do you do anything like, like we do content marketing from a different angle, right? We do brand building, we do like, establishing authority, helping people to like get known in the space without selling most of the time. It's like 80-20 rule. It's like 80% of the time you give away everything for free.
Yep.
You make sure everyone knows you and what you're about, what kind of culture you have, what kind of values you have. And then, 20% of the time, because the people already know you and trust you, and, we put an ad out.
Yeah.
So that's basically, our business model here for us as well as for our clients. But at the same time, it's like, that's very interesting that, the drop shipping, community didn't die out yet, because that was really big, like 3-4 years ago.
Yes,
when
absolutely.
basically everyone sourced from Alibaba and drop shipping here and there and supplements and, you name it. Not that big anymore now, right?
No. And so that's something to speak to as well. A couple things based off of what you said is, one is I love the way that you guys are trying to position yourself, because I think that is powerful, being able to help somebody become known, be more of a brand. And I think that exactly as you said, even for me, even on this podcast, whatever you ask, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to hold anything back, because that's how people on the other side of the camera, the other side of the microphone can actually get impacted. And so when they actually feel real impact is when they come back.
Exactly.
And so the second piece, when you're talking about drop shipping, is that piece of it basically dying out is why drop shipping is kind of like the black sheep of e-commerce. People want to do a private label, build their own thing, but either A, they don't know how to, or B, it's way too much money. We've been in that space. It does take at least $5,000 to $10,000 for you to be able to get off the ground.
Right.
With drop shipping, you can do it a couple different ways where it basically costs you nothing. And one way that a lot of people will say, I've seen it on TikTok a lot, we did this a little bit on Facebook, is people say, if you want to start a lazy business, is go buy stuff on Amazon or go list stuff on Facebook, and then when somebody buys it, you buy it off of Amazon and send it to them. And that does work, but you are at risk of getting shut down by Facebook. You're at risk of getting shut down by Amazon. So that one's a very risky way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is still a place with drop shipping to be wildly successful if you know how to position yourself, right, and you know how to actually build a real brand, right, and be able to help people.
Basically the route we're doing, offering, right? Build your personal brand, and it doesn't matter. People will buy from you, unless you screw them over with crappy products.
Yeah.
Make sure that what you offer is actually good.
Exactly.
Right? Try out before you ship it out.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people are like, yeah, well, just go on Alibaba, source it. They brand it for you, put the logo on it or whatever you want. Yep. And then, it's cheap. You buy it for 20% of the.
Oh yeah, it's cheap, dirt cheap. So, and that's something that a lot of people will do. A couple different things for those that are listening that are interested in what does it even look like as a private label or a drop shipping when you're talking about Alibaba. A lot of people may not know that are listening what Alibaba is. It's simply a website that you go to that it's mainly Chinese manufacturers. You can find some that are US, but the prices are ridiculously cheap. And you're basically white labeling somebody else's stuff as your own thing. White labeling just means this water bottle, let's say, is I'm putting my label on it and I'm sending it to you. Right. I didn't make it. Correct. And so a couple of different ways is people will buy the water bottle enough times to where they know, I'll buy it once, get enough sales, and then I'll turn it into my own brand. Another way is to buy 500 of these water bottles and make it a brand. But when you do that, the risk is if you don't actually get samples, as you said, is you may end up with a water bottle that's filled full of green water. And so you sent that to 100 different customers. Now you have a 1-star rating on Google, and no one wants to do business with you because you didn't actually do quality control.
Exactly. And it's so important, right? We have that, with my other company, quality control, right?
Yep.
So I cannot do it that way because, I need to make sure that whoever I send out with our staffing organization, that they're actually good, right? Yep. Sometimes I don't know them. So I need to put systems in place that, we're basically like a country club, right? Yep. It's you don't get in the good country clubs unless 2 members say, yes, that one is worth considering. Not even let him in. It's worth considering. Only then I send people out, right? If people tell me, hey, I work with them, great guy or great girl, whatever, then yes. If not, you're not in. Because I have one name, right? It took me so long to build that reputation for not having shady people, right? Skills-wise, right?
Yep.
People that take too long, people that, screw people over, people are just, sitting there and banking on the money they make. The longer it takes, the more money they make. Those kind of people, we don't want to. We don't want to have them. So we have to weed them out before. It's a little bit more difficult than, send it over to me. I have a look at it, and then you don't even know then that, that first example is how the quality will be in the future.
Yep.
I mean, I had that, with other stuff. We're in the manufacturing business. So what happens sometimes is that, you do tests when, the end customer is present, mm-hmm, and it's perfect. And then production gets in the way of like keeping it perfect.
Yep.
So, and then we have audits every once in a while and stuff like that. But, you know, you have the after, like the, you know, quality assurance is a different thing than, you know, qualifying, you know, qualifying before you even send something out, where you don't, you know, it's a little bit different. But I feel the pain there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like super difficult to actually make sure 100% I don't send out crap. And even if it happens, we have great customer service that makes up for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to speak to that, is I was actually, before stepping into e-commerce with my wife and creating this company a few months ago even, I was actually a manager at a warehouse. So talking about quality control, that's right up my alley. There we used to actually have to take different pallets of material and just like, hey, you got to hold this for a certain amount of time. We got to do a quality check. And so we had to do a quality check on the entire warehouse every single month. And that's really important. At the time, I thought it was just time consuming. But it's very, very important to make sure that every product you're sending is high quality, because that's the only way that because this is just my opinion. This is my hot take for the podcast is it's easy to get into business, but it's harder to stay in business because you can get in pretty easy. You can get an LLC for $100 and you can create your business name, do whatever you want. But for you to stay in business, your quality has to be good. Because you can have terrible quality, make you a couple $100, even a couple $100,000, but if you don't do it well, you're just going to disappear.
Right.
So you got to think of, who do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who's a flash in the pan and just makes their money overnight and disappears? Yeah. Or do you want to stay around and actually make something that impacts people for the long term?
Right. There's a reason that, you know, I think only 1 out of 10 businesses survive the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone else is like going out of business for one of 3 reasons. Number 1, couldn't sell enough. Number 2, crappy product. Number 3, product was only, it's irrelevant. So what do you want to do, right?
Yep.
Newspapers.
Newspapers is a great example, yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, that was very relevant for I don't know how many years, right? Since like the book press, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then afterwards, and even before that, then people like the Herald, right? He was riding on his like roll, and then like going out as like the king says, you know. That was the newspapers of like the medieval times or whatever. Irrelevant, you know, goes out of business. They hold on to their subscription model base, you know, business, where I get it, you know, subscription model, we like it too, but you know, come on, who wants to read the newspaper?
Yep.
You know, if I want information, I get it for free in most cases, right? And then it's always the same. Chattanooga Free Press, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, that's interesting, local. Paywall, bah.
Yep.
Nah, I'm not going to pay for you.
Nope.
Like, I get that information. Plus, like, maybe it wasn't that interesting in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Not interesting enough for me to pay for it.
Yep.
Rather than they overthinking their business model and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't do it that way. Free, value, right? And then therefore I can bank on like, yeah, you know what? You want to advertise on our platform? And they still try that, right? And it's not cheap either.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I do that?
Yep.
Like, it's just like overhauled system. But, you know, who am I to judge? You know, it's like, you know, they know better. It's not only them. It's everywhere. And it's especially local newspapers that are like that. You know, the more national ones, they don't care. They give you everything for free because they make their money otherwise. They will stay in business. HuffPost and, you know, New York Times and all those, they will stay in business because they overthought their business model away from like, you want to read this about XYZ from your neighborhood, then pay me $1. No, that person is not that interesting in the first place. You know, I don't see them surviving that way.
Yep. That's actually very interesting. I would love to take a deep dive into a couple different businesses. One, Blockbuster, one, Netflix. So Blockbuster, if you don't know, Blockbuster was a huge video retail store. You could go in, have your Friday night fun with your family, pick out a DVD, or well, it wasn't DVDs then. It was
I know.
VHS.
We had Blockbuster. Did we have Blockbuster? I think we had something similar.
Yeah.
In Germany too. Same deal. Right?
But yeah, just like Blockbuster is, which one is still around, Netflix or Blockbuster? And here's the thing: it's about vision. Where do you want to go? And it's about continuing to innovate and advance. Blockbuster had an opportunity, and for those of you listening, you can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, is Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $44 million. Just think about that. Blockbuster laughed them out of the room.
Right.
So you're telling me that a company that's no longer around had the opportunity to buy Netflix, who is a juggernaut, multi-billion-dollar company.
Right.
Another great example is Yahoo and Google. Yahoo had the opportunity to buy Google for, I think it was $100 million, maybe a little more, and they didn't because they didn't have the vision to see the future.
Right.
And that's
also,
really important. Right?
They were in the same space. With Yahoo, like I get the Netflix and Blockbuster thing, and there's something similar to be said to that because Blockbuster as well as Yahoo thought, we were first to market, right?
Yep.
And Netflix, like I mean, for the younger people, Netflix was basically a DVD vending machine system. Like it was not what it is today. It was not, hey, we produce our own content, films, whatever, movies. It was just, the same, we're just disrupting the video, renting industry. It's like Blockbuster, watch me. I'm putting vending machines in front of Walmart, right? Something like that. Same with Yahoo and Google. Yahoo was there first. Yahoo was like news, search, and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, well, you're just a copy.
Yeah.
I give you the vision thing, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, so they didn't see the vision. They didn't see like the corporations that are around today, the tech giants like Alphabet and, Meta and all those companies. They discovered that, when I have something, like, Facebook came out was a messenger. WhatsApp was around. Instead of being like Blockbuster or Yahoo, they was like, okay, got it. Now I control everything messaging that isn't your iPhone or your Android phone, right? The thing is this, it got too big, out of hand, kind of, but they understood, right? The same with Google. Google was like, okay, I'll just buy everything.
Yep.
Just, YouTube, they had the vision for YouTube to be like, oh, this is going to be great for search, right? Because in the beginning, it was all what? Like dating and kittens.
Kitten videos.
Kitten videos. Like funny stuff, right? I remember like in when it was pretty young, like I used YouTube very rarely. And if so, for like, I don't know, videos like people are awesome. And then I was just a reel of like 5 minutes of people doing crazy stuff, right?
Yep.
It's totally different now. YouTube, I mean, like I use YouTube, to learn everything I can't.
Yeah.
Everything I don't know. Like it's right there.
It's right there.
So unless you want to be a doctor or an attorney or something like that, just go to YouTube. You're probably going to get more content there about the topic that you want to learn than, university can ever, teach you.
Yep.
That's something where it's like, okay. So they went from there to where we are right now. And that's just the beginning. It's like, what? How old? Like 15 years now? Something like that?
Yeah, something
15
like that.
years? That's nothing, right? We're talking about like taking, local advertisements here, at Mapeus. We're trying to like, it's like, hey, this is around already for 5 years and it works, right? Look at the people that did it. They're giants right now in the space, whatever they are in, right? And people are still like, yeah, we don't know. It's like, well, don't be Blockbuster, right? Don't be Yahoo. I mean, Yahoo is still around, I think, right?
Yes, but just in a very limited capacity. But that's what I mean by when I'm saying vision is the same thing when you're going to reach out to a new client. Let's say it's a person even across the street from here, is if they don't have the vision to see how you can actually help them, they're not going to be able to buy in to help grow themselves. And because at the same time, when you're talking about Yahoo, Google, Netflix, whoever, Meta, is for them is if they didn't see how buying, like Meta, didn't see how buying Instagram made sense, or they didn't see how buying WhatsApp made sense, they would be very limited to their growth. Facebook would probably be dying off right now because I think that their actual click-through is more on Instagram with my generation and younger people than even Facebook, because Facebook is mainly you're scrolling through and your friends are at the beach or you're complaining about something that happened in the news. So that's what I like about Instagram, and but it's smart for them to be able to reach out, and they just bought that digital real estate. They bought Instagram, but they bought businesses that were already moving in that direction.
I agree with that part. I disagree with what you said earlier. It's not all like, I mean, what Instagram and Facebook, like what separates them is a little bit of this, like, hey, like a lot of local businesses rely way more on Facebook than they are on Instagram. That has nothing to do with like generation, but it's like, first of all, you rank. You don't need a website. Right. You need a Facebook page. Everything is there. Phone number, WhatsApp button, everything you want is on there. You don't have that on Instagram. Like it's more like a kind of like the Google page that you have, like your Google business account, where you have to actually verify yourself. Yes, we're here at this address. We're real. Come on in. Here's pictures. We can update this. This is like people underestimate this. Your Google business account site, especially if you have a local business that has an address, utilize it.
Yeah.
Because, that's also a form of social media. Facebook is the same way. You can post updates for your business there. You can, funnel people through that. You can post jobs there too, right?
Yep.
Instagram doesn't have all those functions. Plus, like those fan pages, they, because of the big corporations kind of, they went out again. You have more reach again. So it's like, it's different. You can have shops there. You can, link stuff. Not possible on Instagram. Not in the way where it is on Facebook. And even though you're right, your generation, I understood, I'm old. Your generation is more on Instagram. I'm on Instagram too, but I have like 97 people following me on my private account, right? Because I'm just old, right? So my kids, my oldest son, he's on Facebook, but he's not active at all, right? They have an account, but, because the Instagram account is kind of like linked, but I get it. It's all Instagram, it's all pictures. Now it's all videos, all it's reels and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. But, don't underestimate the buying power of like, my generation and older.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So Instagram is good for a few things. I think Instagram has a big problem right now competing with YouTube and TikTok. The real stuff is okay. They're going into the right direction, but I think they will never be TikTok or they will never be YouTube. Because YouTube, I think of all 3 platforms, or 4, if you will, that have short form video content, the reels, the vertical and whatever. TikTok is special because of their algorithm, right? And then, but like, Instagram, Facebook, it's the same reels, right? They're like, yeah, you want to post that on Facebook too? Yes. All right. So two birds with one stone. I get it, right? But then you have YouTube that is like totally different because YouTube, I mean, we're doing like the, YouTube, video podcast. What does it do? It gives us a short form channel and a long form channel.
Right.
Where the short form is good to like just draw people in. If they like what they hear, like out of a conversation that we have for 30 seconds or a minute, then they are very likely to, if they see the 3rd or 4th or whatever, they're like, you know what, that actually sounds good. Let's see the whole thing, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them. You don't have that with TikTok, that benefit. You don't have that with Facebook, that benefit. Because it's not really like, it's not pointing so directly to your other content on Facebook, for example, or on Instagram, where it's more like it's loose stuff floating around. TikTok the same. It's like, okay, you're TikTok. All right. So now what? Like there's nothing. There's like, oh, I can go to your page and then I see all the other short form content. And, maybe it works for you from a PPC, point of view, but like there's not more, there's no real way, at least I didn't find it yet, to like directly link to your YouTube, for example. TikTok doesn't want you to leave, right?
Right.
So they make it very hard. You can put like links in the description, in the bio and everything, but it's nowhere is it so easy to go from short form to long form, like in just one click, right? You subscribe, next time you don't even have to subscribe. I mean, YouTube algorithm knows what you're watching and they're pushing what you watch anyways to you. I realized that when I was like, well, wait a second. Like I'm watching this channel since 2 years now and I'm not a subscriber. Like I subscribed then, but like how many people are actually watching your stuff that are not even subscribed, still coming back all the time? I mean, I do have a German channel right now where we're at like 1,500-ish, a little bit to go to 1,500, where I know like if I post a video, so and so many people are subscribed only. And, it's different on the produced videos rather than the lives. I have less a turnout on the lives.
Right.
But, I know that way more people consume my content than that are subscribed to me. So, and it's, that it's very unique to YouTube. And therefore, like from all the short platforms, I think people should not like underestimate that platform.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Something to talk about when you're talking about Facebook, Instagram is, for us being on the e-commerce side, is you can actually make those two play really nice together. you can actually have Instagram have a full shop the same way Facebook does. And then especially if they are the same name, is they can actually link. So they don't have to leave. Same way that YouTube and TikTok, especially TikTok, doesn't want you to leave their platform. Facebook, they want you to stay on it too. So like you said, with Facebook, you can create a shop. Instagram, you can too. And so with that, you can actually reach even more people. And if you build it outright, because a lot of it is mobile, then you're going to be able to capture people from basically Facebook. You can use it like a Google page, same as you were saying. And Instagram, you can capture those people who are just scrolling.
But they have integrated stores also, like with Instagram also.
Oh. Yep, they have. And so we've seen that be really powerful, because especially if your products look good in pictures. Because what's really smart is, let's say the outfit I've got on. If this is what I was selling, then I could have a picture of me on Instagram, and then I could tag each part of the content. You press it, you're in my store. So you don't have to leave.
But is it like, so is it an integrated store, or do you integrate, let's say, Shopify into...
It's an integrated store. So let's say that you already had a Shopify, but you wanted to explore Facebook and Instagram, is you can have it, and this is how I tell people to set it up, this is how we set it up, is even if you have a Shopify, you have it there for basically digital real estate. So if someone says, hey, we want to know who you are, what's your website, this is our website. But we want you to have it as basically try to reduce the friction for that customer. So we want them to stay on. Make it easy, exactly. So we keep it where the checkout button is on Facebook and Instagram. So if you click, oh, I want to get that shirt, and you click on the picture, and it immediately takes you to our store, you click the shirt and you buy. You don't have to go to Shopify. But if you wanted to, you could.
Okay.
And that's how we've seen it be able to play really well, is because...
Do you have to upload everything, or do you just,
If you already have it, let's say you have a Shopify already and you have a list of products, you can just import it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do the work double.
No.
Okay. That would be a huge barrier for me. Like, it was like, okay, if I'm, I don't know what I'm selling, right? It's like, for me, it's all B2B. So, we do use like PPC and everything, for us too. And also like the whole, like, retargeting and everything.
Absolutely.
But we sell like in person, right? It's like, this is just to get you in the door. And then the rest is like, someone actually calls you, because, we're talking about, the amount of money that...
Yeah, you're talking about high ticket
right?
deals.
We're talking about real high ticket, right? Yep. So no one is going to, just one click buy, right?
Yep,
no one is going to, here, I sign up $10,000 a month for like 12 months contract. I do that, like while I'm drunk and like being on my TikTok, that's not happening.
No.
You want to talk to someone, you want to come here, you want to see the place, you want to see the team, meet the team, and, actually talk to the project managers and stuff like that before you, make a commitment like
Absolutely,
that. Yeah. But absolutely interesting. So what's your goal? Like, where is it going next? So you're doing that now. Are you doing, are you creating your own brand around it, or is it just, like you try to like, just, get the people on board like on a, personal level, and then do that for them, or where is it going?
It's more the latter. It's more, we want to help more people with it. Like, where we see it going is becoming something where people come to and they know it's going to be high quality. So over the next few months, like for us, as we still do the B2C, we do that on our own time, because it's not going to make a lot of sense if I'm trying to help you.
You're personal.
Yes.
That's still what pays the bills and stuff like that.
Well, that's something that we use to pay the bills. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But we want to make sure not just to pay the bills, but that we actually have good information, because different platforms, Shopify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they're changing daily, sometimes by the hour. So if we're not ahead of it, then you're getting bad information.
Correct.
And we don't want to be that person.
Absolutely.
So we continue this, we keep this going. We've kind of scaled it down some, because we want it to be something that we can stay out ahead of and be able to build this. And what we see this being is being a high quality product that can help a lot of people. So over the next few months, as we're looking to scale it from probably closer to, and what we see realistically from now until the end of December, just on this side being about $30,000 months, we could see that. Margins are much higher on this side, but even more than the margins is the people we can help through it. And that's our main goal and our main objective, is it's more than just the money. And for you being in business for a long time, you understand that. Is once you start making money, it's great. You're able to take care of your family more. You're able to go on those vacations, maybe buy a house, buy a boat, a car, whatever. But once you get to that mountaintop that you're really looking for, it's about the people you can help on the other side.
Correct.
So that's us too. Like, we were hoping, praying for $1 million in a year. We hit that, and then we said, okay, we turned around and said, who can we help? Because I was somebody who quit my job in 2020, and we were in big time debt, $58,000 worth of debt because Amazon shut us down, no fault of our own, and there was no one there to help us. We had no one to turn to, so I was on YouTube, just like you said, trying to figure out different things to do, and we were able to radically change our business model to be able to get it to over $1 million a year. And now that we are able to figure that out, we want to help other people be able to get out of whatever it is that they're stuck in. And I think that that's really important in this time and place, and to do it in integrity, not just trying to get money from people.
Absolutely. I always say that, if you have nothing to give, you will never receive anything.
Yep.
So, but if you have a lot to give, you will receive a lot.
Yep.
It's exactly that. It's like help, everyone is a, different personality, right? Everyone has a different way. Like I have a specific way, like how I arrived here, right? All right. Are there other people that want to achieve the same than I do or similar, right? Yes. Okay. What were the mistakes I made, right? How can I help other people to avoid those mistakes? And then, here's my free content, right? At the same time, I'm like, okay, so I also have, monetized content, if you will, or services in this case. So everyone that is like, oh, you know what? I'm very serious about that. I know I cannot achieve that by myself. This is really great content. Until this point, it helped me, but I have a little bit of a struggle executing.
Yep.
Can you help? Yeah, I can. So this is like the 80-20 rule, like always everywhere. It's true. So 80% of the content is free stuff, right? The 20% that really like what really would make the difference. Yeah, you have to pay for that. Right. But, the outcome for that will be like, I help you over the hill, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like the last little bit that you need. I push, you're like, you got the card up there, right? It's like almost there. It's like, I come and push with you.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's people that want to achieve what you have achieved, and you can get them there. And they're like the love that comes from that. From the people that are so thankful for you helping them for free first, and then also like helping them to push the cart over the mountaintop. It's priceless, right? They will spread the word for you like no one else, right?
Exactly.
This is like it is so powerful.
Yep. So I love that.
Yeah. It's like I had a very different life when I was in Germany. A very different life. Always was into entrepreneurship. Had a few businesses, failed most of them, to be honest, right? So, but I was always like that, but I was in the wrong room, right? I wouldn't necessarily say I was always the smartest person in the room, but like, different.
Yes.
Like wrong room, right?
I understand.
Like, I have to get away from you people. Sorry, I grew up with you. Sorry, I have to get away from here. So I did. It changed my life, right?
Yep.
Now, I have to make sure that, I want to, see like broaden my network all the time. So I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? Because I want to have people around me that I can look up to, that I can learn from.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like everyone else where, they're not there yet. I'm happy to help, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I love that. That's exactly something that I say all the time is people think that you have to have the most willpower to be able to get yourself through a hard situation. Sometimes you just need to change your environment. I see that all the time where people will come to me and say, hey, how do I start a business? How do I get out of this situation? And I'll say, well, you need to stop going and drinking until 3 a.m. You need to actually change the lifestyle you're living. And people don't want to hear that. They would rather say, well, give me step 1, 2, and 3 and I can go do it. But you're not going to do step 1, 2, and 3 if mom and dad are always breathing down your neck. Why aren't you going to college?
Right.
So changing your environment will help you more than just trying to willpower your way through it.
Right. I mean, there's something to be said to willpower too. Don't get me wrong there. Yeah. So, but you're right. It's like, what's that famous quote? Like, you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with. Absolutely true. That's why I try to not surround myself with so many people, right? Because there's a lot of foul apples out there. Like I have to say that. Sorry, if you're one of them, but it's true, right? You have to. It's very hard to find like-minded people that do understand, but once you're like in that circle, you see them suddenly, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. It's like, okay. I mean, we're doing this since 2 weeks now here. Like the people I meet here on the podcast, just, in those 2 weeks, they're all like that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're doing that. Life is abundant. I help you, you help me, no problem. This is for me, this is a content machine, but at the same time, this is a huge networking machine.
Absolutely.
Like meeting people like you, or the other guests that were here already. We're going to have one coming in like 10 minutes here, the next person. Then we're going to be out of town for a while, but like we're going to be like connected to so many people that see the world the same way, or at least in the same direction, right?
And that's very important.
And that is very important. If you surround yourself with people like that, everyone is going to grow. Everyone is going to have something out of that, because everyone has a different, experience in life leading up to that point when you guys meet, right?
Yeah.
So I have a very different, experience like through my life and through the industries I'm in and everything than you do, right?
Yes.
But already thinking about like a lot of stuff that you could do for me, so in a sense of like, okay, I need help with this, let's collaborate, right? That it's always like that. I meet people, I'm like, okay, I don't want anyone to give me anything for free. I'm just like, oh wow, you can do that. Maybe you can help me, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can help someone else. It's always like it's always like a give and take, right? It's never just like take, because it's just the world really is abundant,
Absolutely.
especially on the business level.
And that's what I love. I agree. There's a guy I got on the phone with last week, and I got a warm connection to him. I didn't know the guy, but he's done over $200 million in sales online, and he has over $1 billion worth of product management under his belt. And I have nothing to offer this guy. And I get on the phone with him, and by the end, he's like, okay, I want to collaborate with you. And that's what happens when you start leveling up your mindset, you change your environment, and you start looking for people moving in the same direction. Is what I've noticed, and I'm sure you have as well, is it doesn't matter if it's somebody who has made 200 million or someone who's made 2 million. If they are ahead of where you are, I've seen those be the most generous, kind people willing to help you.
Yeah.
People have a misconception that if you, like, let's say that you're in a hard spot right now. I've been there, where you are worse than broke. I've been worse than broke.
Yeah, me too.
And when you were worse than broke, you think, oh man, this is it. Like, no one cares about me. No one's willing to help me. But you would be very surprised. The quote unquote rich people that are ruining America or ruining the world are some of the kindest, most giving people you'll ever meet.
Yep,
but you just have to have 100%. The courage. You just have to have the courage to ask them.
Yeah. Ask and you shall receive.
Yep.
Right? It's like
Amen.
that. It's like, man, like we had this the other day. It's like, well, why are you always telling everyone everything about your problems? Because
that's how you.
They might have a solution for me that like have nothing to do with my problem. And it's like, hey, you know what? I know a guy that does exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Here's the number.
Mm-hmm.
So it's asking you shall receive. It's true. It's like even Steve Jobs said that once. It's like, hey, you just should ask more people for favors. If you know them or not. As what you just said, most wealthy people, especially business people that are self-made, even though there's no such thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they know they had help before. Mm-hmm. They know exactly the point where it's like, I don't know anymore. I need help, right? The moment you realize that, is like, okay, so you get out of your way and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not Superman. I need help, all right? Who do I have to ask for that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just tell everyone everything. So you will receive so much help. People, they have been there. Not everyone. I know that.
Yeah.
There's people out there, especially, like I don't want to like generalize that, but generally speaking, people that came from nothing, that are now here, and you're here or there, negative, whatever.
Yep.
They're the ones that help you for free. They don't want anything from you. They just want you to succeed. That's all. So it's so people have to change the way they're looking at like wealthy people. Yeah. They're not the devil. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And most of them really are, key. Like you said, the kindest people I've ever met.
Yep.
I got so much help, from people that are like, when I was broke, right? Where they just without asking, they didn't want anything back. Nothing. They just take it. Here's my help. No problem. What do you need? Here, connect you to that person, connect you to that person. Never ask for anything back. I had nothing to give anyways, but never ask for anything back. Like, I had friends that I grew up with that wouldn't give me their half of their sandwich.
Yep.
If it would be like,
I understand that.
totally different. But those are the people that tell everyone, you know what, those wealthy people, they should all be like taxed to the max and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, here you go.
Yeah, I agree. I find that that was one of the mindsets I had to change. Growing up, I was blessed. I grew up middle class. But my mom and dad, they both grew up very, very poor. At a point in time, my mom was homeless. So they looked at wealthy people that way. Oh, man, they're ruining America. They should be taxed to the absolute max because look at me. I'm working 16-hour shifts and I'm not being able to provide for my family. Why should they get to the house? Why should they get that? But if you just change your mindset and realize that, A, most of those people came from nothing. And they had to work just as hard, if not harder, than a lot of these people to be able to get to that point. But B is they are willing to just give it away. And to be honest, most people who are really wealthy, and especially if you know about them, they're taking ridicule every single day by thousands and thousands of people. So the fact that they're still willing to turn around and be open-hearted enough to help somebody is incredible.
Yeah.
And that was my motivation for even getting into business was I wanted to help people. But you can't help people if you can't help yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's why now that we're able to help ourselves, we want to help more people because if I can help one person that goes around and helps another person, then that's how you help the world.
Yeah.
And I find that very important is people gave to me. At a point in time in high school, there was a family that was making millions of dollars. And they said, hey, do you want to come play basketball in Atlanta? Well, I couldn't afford it. And they said, hey, we'll pay for it. Like you come hang out with me. And I did. I was able to stay with them. But I remember we pulled up to their house and it was worth $3 million. And I was just like awestruck, right? I'd never seen a mansion. And my friend turns to me and he goes, man, you look like you've never seen a mansion before. And I said, I haven't. And so their house was almost 10,000 square feet. My house was 2,000. And my house was from the 60s. Their house was brand new. And I just remember sitting in their theater room and it being like I'm sitting in the IMAX theater. And I was just blown away. And they were so nice and so kind and so generous. They just give you anything. And they just give their time away when their time was more valuable than mine. So who am I to sit there and say now that I'm in a position that's similar for me to be like, oh, my time's too precious. I can't help you.
Right.
I think it's so important to go back out into the community and help who you can.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, and then like my personality is a little bit different. Maybe like, like I have a different cultural background. We're very direct people in Germany. So often like I don't even wait until someone asks me for advice. I've just, it's like unsolicited advice. When I see something, it's like, you should do this change and it will change your life.
Yeah.
And then you do with that information what you want.
Absolutely.
99% of the time, they're like, who are you? I didn't ask for that advice. I was like, okay, that was free. You're welcome. And I had one guy changing his life years after I gave him advice. And he was like reaching out to me. It's like, hey, you know what? I actually did what you said 3 years after you said it, thought about it, how dumb I was to not take the advice. And then it clicked, and he went off the, like the path again, but, I can only do so much. Right. But like, that's something where, people, I always wanted to help people, if they wanted it or not. that's another thing. But, that's everything I do online since years now is all about, here's what I learned. Here, take it, do whatever you want with it, right? It's free. Just take it, right? And then people have to do whatever they, can or want with it.
Right.
So, but that being said, very nice conversation with you. I'm very happy that you came by. Well, you're always welcome back, right? We do have another guest coming, so yeah. I have to cut this short. I'm very sorry about that, but definitely want to talk to you about some ventures coming up.
Yeah, I would love that.
And then maybe get together anytime soon. I'm going to be out of town for the rest of the month, basically. Yeah. But absolutely would like to get together and see what we can do together. Okay, sounds great. Yeah. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate that you set up a place like this to be able to have someone like me in here and be able to have a conversation like this. And I think it's really important to have conversations like this with more people. And that's why I'm excited that we're getting off of this so you can talk to someone else. Because that's how more listeners that are tuning in will be able to find change, whether it's through my words, through your words, or through another guest's words. Absolutely. I find that really important. So thank you. Thank you for your time. I don't want to eat up any more of it. Thank you so much. And thanks for being here.